I'm not an accountant, and this isn't tax advice.
So this is a supplement to my video on how I got my tax identification number in order to start trading stocks in the Philippine stock market. I'm also making it because my second subscriber, Cutie Cat, asked about how to fill up Form 1901. I'll be casually explaining how to do so by walking you through. So this is the application for registration, or BIR Form number 1901. So this form has to be filled up in triplicate, and at the end of the day, you'll be issued a tin, which you'll find here. The reason why this field is up here is because the two forms will go to the BIR while you'll keep one form at the end of the day. So the first part is the taxpayer information, and the first cell you have to fill up is the PhilSys number. Although I hear that the BIR has been quite lenient since it is quite difficult to apply for a PhilSys number given the current situation, I don't think they're going to stop you from getting a TIN number, so don't sweat about it too much, and I guess, yeah, ignore that for now. So the next cell is the type of registering office. It just so happened that I found myself registering at the branch office. The next cell is the BIR registration date. This is filled up by the BIR representative. Don't touch that. The fourth cell is the taxpayer identification number. Since you're applying it for your first time, you don't have one and you just don't have to fill this up. The RDO code, also empty. The sixth section is where things get kind of mucky. As a general rule of thumb, I recommend that you just simply fill up the professional in general. Now, other activities found in this category include freelancing activities like copywriting, graphic design, coding on the side. If you do have a job, then you might need to fill up this compensation, income, earner, and professional. But if you're just a student and you earn most of your income through an allowance or odd jobs, then definitely professional in general is where you want to be. The next section is the taxpayer's name. Do fill it up with your real name. So last name, first name, middle name, suffix if you have one, nickname I believe is optional. If you're inheriting stocks through an estate, then you have to write the name of the person who died. First name, middle name, last name, suffix, all that good stuff. So I think that covers most of the complicated stuff for the first part. So I'll just rush through filling up some fields without actually giving explanations to it. But yeah, so I guess it's time to kind of get to know me, I suppose. So gender, I'm male. Civil status, I'm single. Date of birth, I'd rather not say. Place of birth, Manila. Mother's maiden name. Father's name. Citizenship, Filipino. Other citizenships, I have none. Local residence address, I'd rather not say, but it's in Manila. Yeah, just fill that up. You only have to fill the section up if you're applying as a sole proprietor. So since you're a student, most likely, you don't have to fill that up. Foreign address, unless you're a foreign national and live elsewhere, you don't have to fill this up. Municipality code, you don't have to fill this up. Purpose of TIN application, stocks. Certification details. I use the driver's license, but I think other postal IDs work as well. Postal IDs work. I fill up the necessary details, effective date, expiry date. The issuer is the government agency that issued you that card or ID. Place of country of issue, the Philippines, most likely. Preferred contact type, I prefer to be contacted through mobile or email. Number 23 is a question if I would be availing the 8% income tax rate option in lieu of graduated rate. I have no clue what this is. I'm not an accountant, but I'm pretty sure from what I've read, you just have to fill up no, unless you're earning more than 3 million gross income in a year. Yeah. So the second part is the spouse information. Unless you're married, you don't have to fill this up. I'm not married, I'm not gonna fill it up. But it's pretty straightforward. You just have to fill up the spouse's name, the employment status of your spouse, the spouse's employer's name, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, you also have to ask her to provide the spouse's TIN number, as well as the spouse's employer's TIN number, if ever she is employed. But yeah, this section is pretty straightforward. So part 3 is authorized representative. Yeah, you don't have to fill this up because it's not relevant to starting stock trading. So yeah, just ignore this. So part 4 is business information. It's not relevant unless you're starting a business, in which case you aren't. So ignore this. Yeah. Part 5, tax types. This is filled by the BIR representative, and you can expect them to check the following: capital gains and stocks. Don't think about it too much. Really not much to think about. So authority to print. You don't need to print any as a stock trader because most of the transactions are recorded and receipted by the stockbroker you apply for. Likewise, they also carry the document taxes and capital gains taxes. Yeah, so they withhold those things for you. Part 7. For employees with 2 or more employees. Part 7. For employees with 2 or more employers within the calendar year. Again, unless you're earning a wage, then you don't really have to really fill this up. You really don't have to fill this up. Yeah, especially if most of your income comes from your allowance. Yeah. Declaration. So cell number 42, you have to sign that indeed everything above here is correct. So check that. So part 8 is the primary or current employer information. This is only relevant for people who actually have a job, not like myself. I think it's best to ask your company accountant to help guide you through filling up this part. So number 43 is the type of registered office, BIR office, which your company registered at. It really depends. Maybe let's assume they registered at the branch office as well. Number 44 also refers to the TIN the company has. So companies have a different TIN from the owner of the company, and the owner of the company has their own TIN, and of course you have your own TIN, which you're applying for. So you have to ask for the specific company TIN number. RDO code is provided, and so they would have that. Employer name, this is the name of the person who employs you. So if it's a single sole proprietor, that would be his name. But if it's a business, then it would be the person who's registered as the representative. So that's the non-individual. Employer address. Employer address. So the employer, number 47 is the employer address. Fill that up. Contact details. Same thing. Mobile address, email address, fax number, preferably, landline number as well. And here, number 51 is the declaration of whether or not, and number 51 is the declaration if all the things above are accurate and true. In which case, again, if you're a student, these things don't really matter unless you're working. So part 9 is filled up by the BIR representative, in which case you don't really have to concern yourself about it. That's the end of this video. There are probably some changes in how things are processed and filed with the BIR given the current COVID situation, but I'm not aware if they're processing digitally or through mail. So you may unfortunately be required to submit the documents physically, which I still think is your best bet in accomplishing this form and acquire your TIN as efficiently as possible, since in my experience, they can address any discrepancies in how you filled your form there and then. But if we do, wear a face mask, wash your hands, and stay safe.